So today we'll continue the second unit of the lesson we're seeing. And here last class we saw the third conditional, right? Or the present and real conditional that we have here. And now we need to look at the past perfect continuous and expressing regrets with should have. So we're going to be working on that. Let's start with this video listening though. All right. So do you mind reading the instructions?
Yeah, sure. Jackie is at Talia's apartment. Talia is going to interview her and Nick is going to record the interview. Jackie has offered to give Talia a great story. Look at the picture, predict what do you think Jackie will talk about. How she and Dean schemed to frame Nick.
Okay, yes, how they schemed to frame it.
I am so excited. You're sure I look okay? Do you think I should have worn a different outfit?
You look fine, really.
I can't wait to see this when it's broadcast. I'm going to get national exposure.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm with Jackie Bishop, sister of soccer player Dean Bishop. Jackie has decided to come forward to set the record straight. She's going to tell us how she and her brother schemed to frame Nick Crawford, the soccer star. Jackie?
You have to understand, Dean and I had been planning this for a long time. I posed as the VP of marketing for this phony startup shoe company.
Kicks.
Right. Kick Shoes. Cute name, don't you think? Anyway, I knew Nick usually hung out at the juice bar at Atlas Fitness, and I met him there.
And then?
Then, posing as this executive from Kicks, I invited Nick to come to my office to discuss an endorsement.
And did he come to your office?
Well, I didn't really have an office, as you know. So I met him in the Gower Building lobby and took him to lunch. I recorded the whole conversation. Dean took over from there. He doctored the recording to make it sound like Nick had accepted a bribe.
Why did you decide to tell the truth now?
Dean double-crossed me. He promised to introduce me to this big shot movie director, and I believed him. Well, I just found out that Dean had been lying the whole time.
I see.
Unbelievable. My own brother had been using me. If I had known, I would never have gone along with his plan. I should have known better. I should never have trusted my brother.
Do you believe this?
Well, I guess there is no honor among thieves.
I guess not.
Okay, so you were right. They did talk about how they schemed to frame Nick. All right. So in some lines, Jackie used the past perfect continuous. Were you able to catch any of them?
No.
Okay. So Jackie was telling the story about how she met Nick, right? And how they schemed to frame Nick and everything else. So how they prepared for it and how they did it, how they recorded the conversation and edited the file. And then she talked about how they have planned that action. So they say, we have been planning for this for quite a long time before that happened. And then in another line, she says, and then I found out that Dean had been lying to me the whole time. So she used it twice. And that's what we're gonna see the use of it. So let's see what we have in here first.
Andrea?
Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's take a look. So first of all, the past perfect continuous. I remember we've seen the past perfect only, the past perfect simple. Do you remember what it was or when we used it? That's the past perfect simple.
Something that happened in the past, but it related to the present, but something that was in the middle, like it was happening and then something happened.
Okay, so you're kind of mixing tenses here because, okay, the first thing you said, something that happened in the past and that's related to the present, that's the present perfect, right? Like, I've done this before, or I haven't seen you in a while. That's the present perfect, something that's related to the present.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and actually,
Related.
no, actually the past perfect is not related to the present at all.
But I had done this is like you need to no, yeah, you're right. It's not.
Yes. And the other thing about an action interrupting another action, that was the past continuous, right? So I was sitting there and somebody approached me. So that's the past continuous and past simple.
Yeah.
Remember? Actually, the past perfect with had, not with have, was used to talk about the past action, of course, that happened before the past events that we're describing. So before another past action. So for example, he had already made the necessary arrangements before I arrived. So with the past perfect, we have a timeline. And here's the present. And we have, I mean, we're talking about a past event. So the way maybe, right, we're talking about last week. And when we want to introduce something that happened before that past event, something that happened before last week, we use the past perfect, right? So for example, last week, I was, I don't know, I was completing this assignment or this project. When I remember, I had, I don't know, I had done it before and I was doing it again. So I'm using it to refer to something that happened before that specific time in the past, you know?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Do you remember the past perfect?
Yeah.
So in this case, he had already made the necessary arrangements before I arrived. So we have two events, one that happened before the other in the past.
Uh-huh.
And now the past perfect continuous, it's the same. The only thing is that we need the verb be, so being, and the continuous form, so ing. But what changes is that in this case, when we use the past perfect continuous, we're still talking about something that happened before something else. But in this case, we're focusing more on the duration of the action. So we're kind of emphasizing that it's something that happened in a progressive time. So they had been living in that city for 10 years before it was destroyed by an earthquake, or when it was destroyed by an earthquake. So here we're trying to emphasize the time that they have been living there. They have been living there for 10 years when the earthquake destroyed the city. So it's exactly the same as the past perfect. It's used to talk about something that happened before an event in the past. So here, the earthquake, and this happened before. But we're just emphasizing on the duration of the action. Okay, that's what we have here. So something that was in progress before a specific time in the past. It focuses on the continuation of an action, not the end result. So if we say, Talia arrived at 10, I had been waiting for 3 hours to hear the recording. So I was waiting before Talia arrived. So actions in the past, and it's something that happened in progress. We're emphasizing the duration, 3 hours. So I have been waiting for 3 hours before Talia arrived.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, here we have. So Talia probably arrived here. All right. So Tony had been waiting for 3 hours all this time before Talia arrived. So it's an event that happened before another one in the past, and we focus on the time.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Usually, we don't use continuous forms with non-action verbs. So any continuous form, we don't say, Tony had been knowing Talia for several years, or had been, I don't know, liking sushi for several years. So when we're not using action verbs that can actually last, we cannot use its continuous form.
So the correct way to say that, what would it be? Well, how can I say?
Tony had known Talia for several years before this other thing happened. You know? So maybe by the time Talia graduated from high school, Tony had known her. So she had known Tony. So they known each other, but not knowing. You could say Tony had been talking to Talia, or I don't know, helping Talia. Things that can happen in a progressive time.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions so far?
No. So the structure, okay, yeah.
So since it's past perfect, we need to use had as always for every subject. It doesn't change. And since this time is continuous, we need to use the verb be. Now, in this case, it's going to be the past participle form of the verb be because it's still a perfect tense. And then the base form of the verb plus ing, or the ing form. So it's always had been and ing. I have been doing, we have been drinking, we have been talking, she had been lying, we have been planning. So had been and ing. Will be like that. I just found out that Dean had been lying the whole time. Had been lying. We can use contractions with pronouns. So he'd been lying, or I'd been lying. I'd been drinking. And for had not, we can say hadn't. He hadn't been lying.
Is it okay if I use had not instead of hadn't?
Yes.
Can I use both?
You can use both. Usually when you want to make a special emphasis, you can use had not. So if somebody tells you, you have been lying to me this whole time, and you haven't, you can say, no, I have not been lying to you, and you're kind of emphasizing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh.
And what else? Sometimes we can use expressions with by to introduce the time that we're referring to. So by 10, I've been waiting for 3 hours. Or also by the time I met Talia, I have been, living in that city for 3 years. So by or by the time. The same way we did with the passport. Okay. And usually when we're using it, combined with another tense, with a simple past, we show the relationship between them. So we show the sequence of events, what happened first and what happened later. So the action that's in the simple past, when we combine the simple past and the past continuous, the one that's in the simple past is the later action, so the second action. And the first one is going to be the one that has the past perfect, always. So I found out that Dean had been lying. So first, Dean had been lying, and then you found out. So the one with the past perfect, continuous, or the simple one is always going to be the first one. And the other one is simple past.
Mm-hmm.
So when Talia finally arrived, Tony and I have been waiting for 3 hours. So first they were waiting. I'm sorry.
Can we change the order?
Yes, we can say.
It had been lying the whole time. Then I just found out.
I mean, not in that case. You can create, but you would be separating it, in 2 sentences. So Dean had been lying the whole time, and I found that out. You could say that. But usually you leave it till the end. Unless you have when. In that case, you can change it. So Tony and I have been waiting for 3 hours when Talia finally arrived.
Okay.
When you use when, yes, it can go at the beginning or in the middle. And that's it. I don't know if you have any questions.
No.
Okay. Let's see what we have here for practice. Okay, so in this exercise, you need to decide whether you want to use the past perfect simple, like I have been there, or the past perfect continuous. I have been visiting this. So, for example, if we have, when I arrived at the office, I discovered that someone, and we can use here, had been using my computer, because it's something that happens in a progressive time, right? Somebody had been using my computer. You could also say somebody had used my computer. Yeah. Both of them would be okay. But usually, I don't know, both will be okay. If you say had used, it's like that person just used it once, you know? But if you say had been using, it's probably maybe that person was using your computer for forever, maybe for a week, or maybe if you were, you were on vacation, you left your computer there and somebody had been using it. So it's like, it kind of gives the idea that it was for longer than just once.
Or he had just recently finished using your computer. Like he left your computer a few minutes ago. Is that okay?
Probably. I mean, both of them could be just recently. Maybe you can say just that somebody had just been using my computer, or that somebody had just used my computer. And in both of them, if you use just, it means that recently,
Yeah. Okay.
So both of them could be. What about this one? When he all the windows, he locked the house.
When he was checking, when he had been simple, okay, past perfect. Uh, when he had been checking all the windows, he looked the house.
Are you sure about that? Checking?
I mean, I don't understand this sentence.
Like
Mm,
once he checked all the windows, he locked the house, right? So first he checked all the windows and then he locked the house. So when he,
had checked.
yes, that would be better because with check, you just do it like very quickly, you're not like checking the windows. So you just look at them, see that they're, I don't know, locked or yeah, when you see that the windows are locked, then you lock the house. So it's just something that you do in a second. So when once he had checked all the windows, he locked the house. Una vez que había cerrado todas las ventanas, aseguró la puerta, right?
Mm,
You don't say que había estado asegurando, so it's not something that happens for a progressive time, really. Okay. Now this one. Jane was very tired because she
because she had been running.
nah, she had been running. So she had been running. When David had enough money, he bought a car.
When David had saved enough money, he bought a car.
Good. When David had saved. Another thing, I would say that when you use when, do you remember how we said when is usually for the simple past and while is for both? I mean, when wouldn't sound good with the continuous form. So when David had been saving wouldn't sound good because you could say something like he bought a car because he had been saving money, right? But here with when, it would sound weird. So once David had saved enough money, he bought a car.
I didn't know who he was. I had never seen him before.
Perfect. Didn't know who he was. I'd never seen him before.
I didn't go to see this film yesterday because I had seen it before.
Good. I had seen it before. This one?
They were hungry. They had been. Is it right with not?
Yes. They didn't eat, right? That's where they were hungry.
Yeah, okay. They hadn't eaten for several hours.
Good. They hadn't eaten for several hours.
And in the case it was not negative and just eat, the other option is they had been eating for several hours.
Yes, that could work. I mean, but if it were the opposite, right? Like
Yeah.
they weren't hungry, they had been eating for several hours.
Like they were hungry. The
Right?
same.
But it wouldn't make sense, right? In the context.
Ellos estaban hambrientos, han estado comiendo por muchas horas.
But what would they be hungry if they had been eating?
How?
I mean, why would they be hungry if they had actually eaten?
Uh,
You know, if they have eaten, that means that they're not hungry anymore. So they weren't hungry. They have been eating for several hours. You know, like ya no tenían hambre because they had been eating.
estaban hambrientos. Es eso, ¿no?
Yes. Right now it's okay because they hadn't eaten and that's why they were hungry.
Yes.
But if you say they have been eating, that means that they shouldn't be hungry anymore, right? Because they ate.
Oh,
The thing is
yeah.
the one that's in the simple past is the second action. And the one that's in the past perfect or past perfect continuous is the first one.
Okay.
So this happened because of this, right? If you say, habían estado comiendo, that happened first. So if they had been eating, si han estado comiendo, they weren't hungry. No estaban tenían hambre,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
If it were the other way around, if this one would be, I mean, if this one were the first one and this one the second one, then it will make sense what you're saying, but it's the other. Yeah. So I could smell cigarettes. Someone
Had been smoking in the room.
nice. Someone had been smoking.
Still went to the house one day. The golfers went into the clubhouse when they had played the last hole.
Perfect. This one here.
Mm. I had been waiting at the check-in desk for 10 minutes before I realized.
I have been waiting. And the last one.
Had the driver drunk before the car crash?
Good. Both would work, I think. I would say.
Had the driver been drinking before the car crash?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
both.
could work.
Has the driver been drinking before the car crash? So yes.
So in which case I use past perfect? I mean, what in this case, what will be the difference?
There's no difference. I would say it sounds more natural to say been drinking because you usually use it like that. You say, I've been drinking too much lately, or you use it a lot with the past perfect continuous. You can say, so that night or that day I felt horrible because I had been drinking the day before. So usually drinking is something that you do for a while, maybe the whole afternoon, the entire night. So it sounds more natural, but both would be okay. And there's no difference. You could say, had the driver, I don't know, drunk before the car crash. But when you say drunk, I don't know, it's like, it doesn't necessarily sound like you were drinking alcohol, you know? Or when you say I've been drinking, it really implies that it's alcohol. So it just sounds more natural, but both will be okay.
Okay.
So yeah. People use a lot the continuous forms. And you just need to, if it's something that can happen in a continuous, in a progressive way, then it's preferable to use the continuous form, I would say. So I have been thinking, I have been planning, have been lying. You could say he had lied to me, or but he had been lying. It kind of, it's even more dramatic, right? Because it kind of shows that it was for a long time. So it's preferable, I would say.
In the listening part, Jackie said that Nick had double crosser her. What's the meaning? Like, how can I write it?
It's
What?
double cross. I mean,
No.
it's a verb,
Yeah.
but it's a compound word. So it's to double cross someone. And in the past, right? He double crossed me. In the past, it will be with it. And it's an expression. It means betray. So
Mhm.
betray, traicionar. To double cross someone. It's like maybe jugar sucio too.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. Double cross.
Okay. So do you want to do one of these activities that we have? Maybe?
Yeah, sure. So, it, I don't remember that if she said that Nick had been double crossing her. Is it right?
No, she said he double crossed me in the
Yeah.
simple past.
If we use the past perfect continuous in the way it's said, it's not right.
It wouldn't sound good because even in Spanish, right, you say me traicionó. So it's something that happened kind of once. He double crossed me.
Oh, okay.
And also remember that the past perfect or past perfect continuous, it's used to usually when you have more than just the past perfect or past perfect continuous. You have it with another time, right? So he had been lying to me the whole time, or I just found out he had been lying to me. So you have two tenses, simple past and past continuous, past perfect continuous. But if you're just gonna use it once, he double crossed me, there's no reason to use the past perfect because it's just simple past. You're not comparing it to another event. Okay. So
I forgot what I was about to say.
I'm sorry?
I had a question, but I forgot
Oh
because I
my
was
God.
you, and I don't remember now. It's okay, don't worry.
Okay. If you remember, you let me know.
Okay.
So the first one.
The first one. In 2000, I'd been working as researcher before that.
So you're kind of comparing before that, before what? Before 2000.
Had you been expecting a promotion? Moved, the last one.
Yeah.
How do you like your new apartment? Is that, I don't understand that question.
Well, that's actually funny. It's a way of saying, do you like your new apartment? How do you like your new apartment? So it's very common. You say it with everything. So how do you like my new haircut? It means yes, do you like it? And you can say, well, I love it, I hate it, I don't like it. How do you like this or that? It's a common expression.
Okay.
It sounds actually more natural to say, do you like your new apartment? How do you like your new apartment? It sounds more natural.
Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't understanding. Okay. Did you finish the report for class? No, when I started it. Wow. Did you finish the report for class? No. Um, I've been unpacking boxes all afternoon.
When I started it, I've been
Hadn't. The second one, yeah. Bye.
good. So by 3, I've been working for 12 hours.
So in past perfect continuous, we only use by, or
No, not necessarily. You could say I've been living in that city before I moved for 10 years. So you can use for or since, it's like before I moved there, I've been living there since, I don't know, like this year. It could work.
okay.
Yes. Now, is that okay? Any questions? Yeah. Because the next thing we have is actually shorter. I would say it would have been good to see this part of the grammar when we were looking at the expressing regrets or wishes. Like, I wish I hadn't done that. But anyhow, this is similar to this. And in the in the video, Jackie uses it a lot. She's like, I should have known better. I shouldn't have trusted my brother. Or do you think I should have worn a different outfit? So she uses it a lot. And this is the structure that we have, should have.
I should have been known.
I should have known better. You don't have to use the verb be in this.
Yeah.
So should have plus the past participle form of the verb, should have known, should have worn, should have seen it coming, shouldn't have trusted. So it's like another way. Do you remember how we saw some other models within the past, like could have, would have, might have, in the past participle? So should have is used to talk about regrets, things that happened in the past that we cannot change, or also to give advice about what something or what someone should have done in the past. Like if right now you tell me, I don't know, I didn't complete the assignment, well, you should have done it. So it's like, deberías haberlo hecho. So debería haber hecho esto. So it's exactly the same as in Spanish. Debería haber and hecho, which is also in the participle form. So for example, you should have worn a different outfit. Jeans were too informal. So you should have worn, deberías haberte puesto. You know? So when you use it, when you say this to somebody else, you're giving advice, right? Things that another person should have done. And when you say it yourself, I should have, you express regrets. So Jackie says, I should have known better. I should not have trusted Dean. So affirmative, should have, or negative, shouldn't have, or should not have.
So when you give an advice, it's for someone else, but if it's a regret, is for you.
Yeah, like,
You did, okay.
yeah, the same as in Spanish, right? You can say it to someone else, you should have done this, or you should have known better. Deberías haber sido más cuidadoso. Or you can talk about yourself. I should have been more careful. Yo debería haber sido más cuidadoso, or I should have known better. So it can be for something that somebody else did or for something that you did. So obviously you cannot regret something that you didn't do. So you cannot regret something that another person did. That's why we have this advice. But it's just things that happened in the past that you or somebody else should have done differently.
Okay.
We can also blame someone. So it's your fault. You should have been careful. Like maybe Nick could blame Talia and be like, this is all your fault. You should have checked the recording function.
Yeah.
So maybe you should have kept your promises. So should have or shouldn't or should not have plus the past participle. And that's it. Remember, you can always use contractions, which is something that's not here. Okay.
Not, should have not. So what would be the negative?
Should not have.
Okay.
So should not have or shouldn't have. So we often use contractions. So I should have, I shouldn't have.
Should have. Wow.
I should have known better. I shouldn't have trusted me. Shouldn't have.
Okay.
And according to this, we also use it to ask questions. Not that much, I would say, but you can use it. I mean, grammarly, it's okay. So should Jackie have confessed? Yes, she should have. Or no, she shouldn't. Debería haber confesado Jackie. So you can use that. It's not that used, but you can. So should I have worn a different outfit? That's what Jackie asks, right? Should I have worn something different? So yes, you can use it too.
Okay.
Usually, I would say it's more common to say something like, do you think I should have worn? Maybe because it's simpler, right? Because you're not using the structure of a question anymore. This is an embedded question. Right? Do you think I should have worn a different outfit? That will be more common than saying, should I have worn?
Another way to say that, to ask a question. Not using, do you think?
I mean, any form of indirect question would be. So you can say, do you think it's just more common? You could say, do you consider, do you believe, or do you reckon? Do you reckon I should have worn a different outfit? Or what else?
I never hear that. Reckon.
It is used. It's a bit more formal, but it's also used. For example, in the speaking section, you're gonna have to, they're gonna ask you questions like, I don't know, do you agree or disagree with this? Or do you prefer this or that? So instead of saying, I think that this is the best option, you can say, I reckon this is the best option. And it's better for your vocabulary. Or would you say, you know, would you say, or I would say you should have worn a different outfit. So yes. So that's it with the should have.
It is only with should.
Yes, I mean, you grammarly you can use it. You can use that. I mean, that structure with other verbs, but here for this use of expressing regrets or blaming or giving advice in the past, then yes, it's always going to be should. Like deberías haber hecho esto. So it's always should. You could also say could, you know, like I'm not sure that what you did was the right thing. I mean, you could have worn a different outfit. So maybe, but should is like stronger.
Okay.
So look at this. She covered her eyes instead of her nose and mouth. What do you think she should have done?
She should have covered her nose.
Okay, yes. She should have covered her nose
And mouth.
Yeah. Not this one here.
She should have gone to the hospital.
Yeah, she should have gone sooner or earlier too, you can say, because we are assuming that she did go to the hospital, right? The thing is that she should have gone earlier.
She should. Can I see She should have gone to the hospital at the moment she find out that she now when she realized that she's having high fever.
Exactly. She should have gone at the moment she felt she was, or she had fever. Not at the moment she found out she had coronavirus.
Yeah.
So she should have gone earlier or sooner. Now this.
The government should have considered take decisive action.
Okay. Usually with the verb consider, use ing. So should have considered taking decisive action. Right? Consider taking.
The government should have considering. The
Mm,
government should have.
I mean, if you're gonna use consider, debería haber considerado tomar. You can say they should have considered taking
Oh yeah.
decisive action.
Yes.
Sweet. So this one.
We should have separated our trash.
Okay. What else would you say? Try to change the expression.
Okay. We should have been more careful about our trash.
Okay. You should be more careful with the expression. This one.
Changing. We should have stopped using plastic.
Good. We should have stopped using plastic. Maybe plastic straws or plastic, yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay, so what's this? Okay, what would you say about this one? This is bad I. So you did something. What would you say?
I shouldn't have done this.
Good. I shouldn't have done this. So I should not have done. I said that.
Like here, your regret. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yes, you're regretting.
Okay, I shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have said that. Okay. So here we have some more examples, I guess. Last year, I laughed at you and locked down on you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. The bully. I didn't help you finish the group project. I should have helped with. I should have helped. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Sorry.
Okay. So now, any questions? Both should have so far.
No.
Okay. Okay. So let's read this first scenario. Let's see what happened with Eva. So can you please read?
Yeah. Eva had an important meeting at night this morning at an office across town. She overslept, so she got ready as fast as she could. When she was driving to the meeting, she got stuck in a traffic jam. Then she realized that she didn't have the address for the office and got lost. She arrived at the office at 10 a.m. The person she was supposed to meet had left for another meeting.
Okay. So what can you say? What are some things you should have done differently?
Okay. She should she should have taken an alarm.
Okay. She should have maybe set an alarm.
Yes, she should have set an alarm. Uh, she should have known uh, when the traffic jam start.
Okay. She should have known when the jam traffic start.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, what did you say? You're repeating?
I said she should have said, yes, it's correct, but careful with the tense too, you know? So she should have said, or she should have known when the traffic jam started in the past. Yes.
Yes.
What else?
Uh, she should have checked all the information uh, day before.
Yeah, she should have checked the info the day before.
Yeah.
What else? One more thing.
Uh, she should have called the person she was
Yes,
supposed to.
like it. Good. She should have called the person she was supposed to meet. Nice. What about the second one? Can you read this?
Yes. Vitalil, Vitali. How can I pronounce?
I guess it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
Vital.
that name before, but I guess it's just, I
It's
don't
a name.
know really, but I guess it's a name, but I
Okay.
haven't heard it before. So I guess maybe vitally, like
Vital.
from something that's vital.
Mm-hmm. Vitally hurried to finish his monthly report last Thursday because he was going out of town for a long weekend. He asked his coworker to check over the report and turn it in to their boss. Vitali was worried about the report over the weekend. On Monday, his boss came by his office and told him that there was a big mistake in the report. His boss was extremely angry. Okay, Vitali should have shouldn't have hurried to finish his monthly report. She should have started earlier.
What else?
Uh, if he wanted his coworker to check over the report, he should have been more careful. Um, he should have been more careful about who is he giving the report. Yeah.
Right, about who he is giving the report.
Yeah, about who is he giving the report. He should have said he was sorry.
He should have said.
He should have said he was sorry.
Okay.
Oh, he
I think that's a good reason.
have said no.
Okay. This is the last one, Carla.
Carla had a big graduation party in her backyard last week. There were a lot of people there, and everyone was having such a good time that they stayed late, dancing and talking. Carla's neighbor, Janine, was upset because she couldn't sleep. She called the police at midnight. The police came and broke up the party. Carla and Janine haven't spoken to each other since then.
Right.
Wow. Carla Carla should have looked for another space instead her backyard.
Okay, yeah.
Carla should have been more. I forgot that. It was in my head. Carla should have been more careful about people she invited. Andrea, did you hear me?
Hi, you're sorry. Okay.
No.
So, we were saying?
Carla should have been more careful about her guests.
Okay, yes. Should have been more careful. Maybe, when you use careful, more than about, you can use with. So she should have been more careful with her guests.
Oh.
Right?
The,
Careful.
Can I put it at the end? Like, she should have been more careful How can I put it at the end? Or guess with?
I mean,
No.
there's no need, right? Because it's not a question.
Ah, okay. With her guest. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Janine should have called Carla's at the beginning and not the police instead of police.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, maybe she should have called Carla before.
First, yes.
What else? One more thing.
Okay, Carla should have said sorry about the big party in her backyard.
Yeah. Should have apologized.
Yeah, she should have
Yeah.
apologized her neighbor. Yes,
Apologize to Janine, right? Or to her. Yeah.
to her neighbor.
Okay. So now any questions about anything you see? Yes. Right.
No,
Is everything?
so,
Okay.
no, I don't
All right
think
then.
so. Maybe
I'll
in
see you.
practice.
Okay. Yeah. Then you let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'm sending the survey
Yes.
and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Okay. Have you checked my score? Like the test? Andrea?
I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble throwing the survey. Okay, now I think there it is.
I was saying, have you checked my score? Like the test score?
The last one?
Yes, because it was 3/3, not for.
Yes, but I actually talked to Ruth about it and I don't know what happened. She said that nobody deleted anything. So, but we said that there's no problem with that because anyhow, I already,
Score.
yeah, so your score is already in the spreadsheet. So there
Uh-huh.
shouldn't be a problem with that.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yes. So no worries.
Yes.
So then thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.